if they're saying I make $5,000 a month, how does he make $6,000 a month if he has all these houses and all these bills? And we have to use our common sense, not just the little bit that he provides.
In addition, to address the plaintiff's objection to a child support recommendation. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. The President is Attorney Christine Hills, representing the plaintiff father Robert Moss. Mr. Moss is present. In addition, defendant mother Tiffany Budell is also present. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Parties have conferred this morning with Mr. Walker for the front of the court.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm in the process of trying to get that recommendation to you right now.
Just bear with the court for a moment. Court would also note for the record that the last time the parties were before the court, February 13th, the court did refer the issue of custody and parenting time to the front of the court for formal investigation recommendation. The front of the court, Catherine Scott, has recommended that the parties continue joint legal physical to defendant mother. Court has now received the recommendation of Mr. Walker this morning, which is as follows. Parenting time shall continue as previously ordered by this court. Father's parenting time shall be supervised by Family Counseling Shelter Services. Each party shall pay for their own intake. Mother shall pay for all sessions. The defendant's objection to the child support recommendation scheduled with referee McKeon for April 16th, 2024 at 9 a.m. be vacated. Further, with respect to child support, Ms. Walker is recommending that commencing January 1st, 2024, that the plaintiff father pay child support in the amount of $1,452 per month.
Your Honor, there is one. I'm sorry, Your Honor. There's a section. There's a section that I forgot to put in. I apologize. There's a section that I forgot to put into my recommendation. Mr. Moss is stating that he may have given direct payments to the other party for child support. And I was going to add there that if he can provide proof that there were payments directly paid to her for January, February, and March, that the friend of the court would give credit for that. So I need to add that to my recommendation. I apologize for that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walker. It's further recommended that uninsured medical expenses be shared as follows. Plaintiff father paying 65%, mother paying 35%. That is a recommendation. Of course, where we have an 18-month-old minor child here. Ms. Sills, with the addition of the language as suggested by Mr. Walker, that Mr. Walsh received credit for any direct payments made to Ms. Budell upon providing proof. Is your client agreeable with this recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. It's my understanding with respect to the parenting time recommendation that the current order regarding parenting time would continue only until the Family Counseling and Shelter Services is able to accommodate a visit. I know that they have a wait list of several weeks at least at the moment. So I'm not sure if Mr. Walker's intent was that the supervised visits with mother continue once family counseling is involved, or that those stop once family counseling is involved.
The intent was that once Family Counseling and Shelter Services begin supervised visitation, mother would no longer have to supervise.
Okay, thank you. And I may have just misheard the reading of the recommendation. So thank you for that clarification. With that, Judge, we are not objecting to Mr. Walker's recommendation today.
Okay, so if the court understands it correctly, Ms. Sills, that the current parenting time for dad, which is supervised by mother at Chuck E. Cheese's on Sundays, noon to 4, Wednesdays 5 to 7, Fridays 4 to 6, that would continue until such time as the supervised parenting time would commence at Family Counseling and Shelter Services. And at which point in time, all supervised parenting time would be at that agency.
Yes, and I would suggest and hope that the parties contact the agency as soon as possible to get on the wait list so that there's not any delay.
Yes. Can you provide the parties with a phone number?
I will.
Okay, so Ms. Budell, both you need to contact the agency as soon as possible to schedule your intakes. And that's the first step to getting on this wait list. All right, so thank you, Ms. Hills. And Ms. Budell, do you understand the recommendation this morning?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, do you have any objection to court adopting this recommendation?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what's your objection?
My objection is I don't want it if I have to pay for it. I'd rather supervise the visits myself, even though it's I don't want to take the money away from my other 5 children. Like, I have 5 children. He has just Shiloh. Like, I don't want to pay for his supervised visits because he's lying. You know what I mean? I don't want to.
No, what do you mean he's lying? What does that do with parenting time?
Because that's what happened, Your Honor. We both filled out the investigation and all of. Well, he didn't even fill out.
Why don't you sit down, please? You're walking around the room with the phone in front of you.
I'm sorry.
Can you sit down, please?
Yes. So we both filled out the paperwork, and then we got the order for child support, and I objected to it because it wasn't accurate. I make $5,000, and it said he makes $6,000 a month. Well, that's not accurate at all. So I objected to it. Then 2 days later, they object to it, saying that he makes even less than that. And I'm just like, I don't feel like it's right that I have to keep being so nice and supervising the visits and, all this stuff. And he's just going to keep lying and trying to cheat Shiloh. So that's what I said. I
said testimony from Mr. Moss this morning. So what is he lying about? His income?
Yes, Your Honor. If they're saying I make $5,000 a month, how does he make $6,000 a month if he has all these houses and all these bills? And we have to use our common sense, not just the little bit that he provides of information he provides. So I objected to that. So when I objected, then they turned around and objected, which didn't even make sense because, you know what I mean? If you look at his assets, I turned in some of them as proof to friend of the court. I turned in a lot of evidence, I feel like. And then he objected to it, but I'm already coming out of money doing all these supervised visits for him, and he's going to still try to cheat Shiloh. So that's why I said, I don't want to keep supervising the visits if he's going to keep trying to cheat my daughter. And then he said he don't want to pay for daycare so that I can work. He wants to be the babysitter. Well, I can't depend on him because he's evicted me and my kids before. So clearly he don't care if we have a roof over our head. So me and my kids can't depend on someone like that to provide childcare for the family. This just didn't go good today at all, Your Honor, at all.
Well, we actually have a lot of anger inside you, Ms. Budell, and I understand your frustration. But again,
yeah, you're
we've got
supposed
different
to be
issues.
honest.
One is parenting time, one is child support. You object to everything, correct?
The initial friend of the court recommendation that I saw, I didn't object to that. But then when Mr. Walker said that if I want supervised visits through the court, I would have to pay for it. Well, now I'm taking money away from the other 5 kids. I can't do that. So I'll just continue to be humiliated and supervise the visits if we could do that. But I wanted his income looked into because that's not accurate, Your Honor. And I'm not coming to this court lying about anything.
Let's deal with one issue at a time, ma'am. There are 2 different issues. Ms. Hills, if she doesn't want to pay for the visits, I don't know. First of all, what are the costs for the visits? Is it $30 a session?
$25 or $30 a session, I believe.
Okay. And if she doesn't want to pay that, what about continuing if mom wants to take time and supervise 3 days a week? Does your client oppose to that?
Mr. Moss, in light of what we spoke about with regard to family counseling and shelter services, are you willing to either continue with Ms. Budell supervising your visits long-term, or at least as long-term until the court orders at some point that your visitation should be unsupervised? Or are you willing to take on some responsibility for the payment at Family Counseling and Shelter Services of the $25 to $30 a session?
Um, um, I definitely don't have no extra money at this time. So I guess we'll just have to do what we have to do.
In terms of having her continue to supervise visits?
Yeah.
And you've indicated that there's not this sort of vitriol during the visits as in regard to you, that this is, your daughter is insulated from this back and forth between the two of you that we've seen today?
So far, but after today, just like she said, she's being humiliated. And then all I see is this is about money. All this is about money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ms. Hills, further consideration, there is some value to dad having time with the minor child without mom being present, a third party.
I agree.
So what the court's inclined to do is each party shall pay for their own intake, and they should contact the agency as soon as possible, and the party shall share equally the cost of the sessions. We're gonna review this in perhaps 6 weeks. And at some point in time, hopefully we'll get positive reports from an independent third party. Maybe we don't need the supervised parenting time. That's the hope, the direction we need to move in, is to limit the supervised parenting time. And I think it's appropriate to observe the relationship between dad and minor child without mom being present, so that we can make a determination whether or not dad is capable of providing caring for this child without mom or some other supervisor being present. And establish a relationship between dad and the child, so the court believes that would benefit the minor child. We're going to continue the supervised parenting time with mom supervising on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays as previous order until such time as Family Counseling and Shelter Services is available. I'm going to schedule supervised parenting time sessions, at which time hopefully it'll be every week, whatever that agency can accommodate. And that'll be just dad and the minor child. And the party shall share equally shall share the cost of those sessions. So the court's going to modify the recommendation in that regard with respect to child support. Mr. Walker, can this be referred for formal investigation recommendation? Child support and parties are required to submit financial documentation to verify income. Ms. Budell is disputing the reported income of Mr. Moss. Now,
We
I
can
don't have
do
the
that.
benefit of a recommendation. And I know it's an objection recommendation. It's not in the court file. I have no idea who did the recommendation, what kind of information they used.
Your Honor, there was a formal recommendation done. My client provided a tremendous amount of income information. And I'm looking to see who did the recommendation.
Stephanie LaPrade did the recommendation.
I did the recommendation, Your Honor.
Okay, so there's been signed statements signed by the parties in terms of verifying their income, correct?
Correct.
Right. So Ms. Budell, you can go to the front of the court and get a copy of the information that Mr. Moss signed. And if you find that he is misleading the front of the court, that's basically come back and address this thing further. But at this point,
100%. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you asked me a question.
But at this point in time, the court's inclined to adopt the recommendation until you can provide other allegations that his income is not accurate. He's provided written documentation in the front of the court. And that's the front of the court has made this recommendation based upon the review of the written information provided. Presumably did that include the last year's tax returns, Ms. Hills?
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, the
But
last 3 tax returns were included in the packet that was turned in.
All right, thank you. So the front of the court has all the financial information necessary to make this recommendation, Ms. Budell.
So he lied to the IRS and now we have to just accept that? Is that what we're saying? Is that what's going on? Because ask Mr. Moss how much he pays in mortgage payments a month.
If you believe he's committing fraud, you can contact those agencies and allege that.
I just want Shiloh to be properly provided for. If he's paying $10,000 in mortgage payments right now and he used to pay $20,000, he can't only make $6,000 a month if just his mortgages cost $10,000. That's where my anger and frustration is coming from.
In front of me, Ms. Bedell, the court suggests is contact legal services or attorney and they can petition the court and show that Mr. Moss is understating his income, his ability to pay. I don't
Why
have
do I
all
have
that
to have
financial
an
information
attorney
from
to
me. I
do
don't have
that?
tax returns.
That's what I want to do, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, you have the right to do that. You can still petition the court to challenge us, but you need to have some proof that there's been fraud on the part of Mr. Moss in terms of his financial situation.
I guess I'm not understanding what I'm doing wrong then.
Provide documentation that he's committing fraud. It's a proof rather than just allegations.
Where's like just Big Emmett, he sold for $420,000 and he owned it outright. So I'm not under like he's getting ready to sell Breast Road. He's gonna clear 300,000 on it. I mean, I'm not understanding. He sold West Road, made 100 something on that last year too. Like it's big money. So I'm not understanding how he only makes 1,000 more a month than I do. I'm not
Okay.
understanding. You see,
Presumably that's all been disclosed in his tax returns. He could have had significant debt on those properties too. I don't know if they're.
but that wouldn't be. But
$100,000.
That's not accurate.
Okay. Well, you can conduct discovery, Ms. Bedell. You can submit interrogatories, request for production of documents to Mr. Moss, and you can get a copy of those things.
Yeah, Your Honor, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with court. I want to bring in my evidence and I want to present my evidence. I don't understand like this remote stuff. I want to like dress up and come to court and present my case.
You present that to the front of the court. I mean, the front of the court is also has already conducted the investigation. That's when you should have provided all that information.
So that's what I did. And then I objected to that when they did the discovery because it wasn't accurate. So sorry, I'm starting to pace. Let me sit down. So I objected to that. And then I want to come into court and present my evidence.
Okay, well, we'll leave on hearing then. You can appear for referee McKee on April 16th at 9 a.m. We'll keep that on. You can come in with Mr. McKee with all your documentation. So Mr. Walker, we'll leave that hearing on for Mr. McKee. The court's inclined to adopt the recommendation this morning. If Mr. McKee, you can address it further on April 16th at 9 a.m. So we'll leave that date on, Ms. Bedell. You can come in person, talk to Mr. McKee, and provide with the documentation and show him proof that Mr. Moss is submitting fraudulent tax returns. And they make a complaint with the IRS.
Your Honor, I am not available on the 16th. That's a travel day for me, so I can't even promise I could stop somewhere and join in a hearing.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if we could get a new date before Mr. McKee from front of the court. I'm certain my client is going to wish me to be there.
Okay. Mr. Walker, do you have access to Mr. McKee's schedule? If we take a break, you can call him and we can change it from April 16th to a different date.
Your Honor, we can put that on April 30th at 1 p.m.
We'd be available then, Ms. Hills?
I can make that. Judge, I've got a 1:30 with you that day. So as long as you're okay with that, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, I can add that to my recommendation. Stephanie, can you give me the date one more time?
April 30th, 1 p.m. with referee McKee.
Thank you, Mr. Pratt.
Your Honor, the only other thing is because they're both self-employed, Mr. Moss provided the last 3 years, Ms. Bedell did not. So we would also need the 3 years for her as well if we're going to be making accurate recommendations to the court.
I don't have 21s. I don't have 21s. I gave everything. I didn't file in 21. I gave everything.
File in 2021?
No.
Why, because you had no income?
No, because I didn't realize until I just had to submit my paperwork, but it's probably because my company changed names mid-year. So I probably missed it because I probably got one from Landmark Realty and then one from Compass Realty and just I don't know, maybe I got confused or something. But I just realized that when I had to I don't turn in my income for anything else, so I didn't realize it.
There should be a social security statement available. She should be able to set up an account online, which will give a history if there was withholding done, which will give a history of the.
I'm self-employed, so it doesn't, but I just have to find my 1099 from Landmark and then my 1099 from Compass, because my brokerage changed names halfway through the year in 2021. So I'm guessing that's what happened.
Well, each of those brokers should be able to provide you with the documentation of your income while they were your broker. So reach out to those brokers and try to secure that information, Ms. Bedell, for this hearing on April 30th at 1:30 p.m. You can 1 p.m. April 30th, 1 p.m. We'll put this in this order this morning that your objection to the child support recommendation can be heard by referee McKee, not on the 16th, but rather the April 30th at 1 p.m.
Okay.
And you need to get that documentation together. Ms. Hill suggested go online with Social Security. They can have that information. Obviously, if you had taxes, I don't know if you're a broker, if you're self-employed, they would not have withheld any taxes, but you have an obligation to still pay tax on their income.
Your Honor,
Secure that documentation.
once
At
you
this
file
point in time, the court's going to order that commencing as of January 1st, 2024. And Mr. Moss paid child support $1,452 per month. Parenting time will continue as previously ordered, namely, mom will supervise for 3 days a week at Chuck E. Cheese's until such time as there's an opportunity to have supervised parenting time between dad and the minor child shallow with family counseling child services. Both each pay your own intake fee, and then the parties should share equally these fees for the sessions. And the final percent is for review in about 6 weeks. Hopefully, we've got some reports from that agency, Ms. Hills.
Your Honor, Mr. Walker's indicated that the wait list is currently about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, so maybe 8 weeks then.
June 4th, Tuesday, June 4th at 2 o'clock.
I have a trial that day with Judge Arnold, Your Honor.
Wednesday, June 5th at 8:30.
I can do that.
So if you could put that review date in the recommendation, Mr. Walker.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please.
What time was that?
8:30, June 5th.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Bedell, do you have the phone number for this agency? You need to unmute yourself.
No, Your Honor?
Okay, do you have a piece of paper and a pen?
Yes, I just have to get up.
Ms. Hills, do you have the phone number off Andy?
I do. It's 734. Are you ready, Ms. Budell? 734-241-0180.
Did you capture that, Ms. Bedell?
Yes, I have that.
So please contact Angie today. Get on the sooner both of you need to contact him today and make that appointment for the intake to move this matter forward. Right, anything further this morning, Ms. Hills?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Bedell, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so the court will adopt the recommendation as revised to be mailed a copy. We'll see you back in June then.
Thank you. April?
Right. Well, yeah, well, that's gonna be for referee McKee. You're not gonna be before this court. You're gonna be before this court for review in June. Review the parenting time.
Okay, Your Honor.
Your objection to the child support recommendation will be heard by referee McKee in person on April 30th at 1 p.m. rather than the 16th.
Okay.
Okay. That will close, Mary. I'll zoom out. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Did you go anywhere for Easter?
No, I was